I am making 10 garments in 10 days. Hello everyone, I'm Vale. If you are new here, I make vlogs about sewing and living abroad in Colombia. And currently I am on a sewing mission to finish 10 garments before I go off on a trip to Mexico City and also separately on a trip for work, which is kind of an outdoorsy trip. So I've been sewing like a crazy mad person for the last 5 days. This is actually part 2. In part 1, I made several garments. I made 5 garments actually. I made 2 pairs of pants. I made a really cute dress, very flowy dress. I made a robe, a linen robe. And then I also finished an old sort of skirt set that I hadn't finished last year involving the addition of a top. So I made all of those things last week, and then I took a little bit of a breather, aka 12 hours, and now I am back to finish part 2. In this part, we're going to be making the following things. We're going to be making a jersey. We're not making a jersey. We're pimping out a jersey, a World Cup jersey to be specific. So we're going to upcycle this jersey so it's a little bit cuter, a little more my style, a little more flattering because I hate how jerseys look on me. We're also going to be making a top, the pleat top to be exact. We're going to be making that in a white linen, so it's going to be very versatile. I've seen this pattern everywhere online. It is super cute, and the pattern is actually not so large, and I don't have too much fabric, so I think that that's perfect. We're going to make that top. What else are we making? We're making a corset, so we're gonna upcycle this outfit. Like, it literally still has the tags. I've had this for 3 years and I've never worn it. It just doesn't, it's not that it doesn't fit, it does fit. It just doesn't fit correctly, like, and not in a way that is fixable. So it's not like, oh, it's too big, let me take it in. It's like too tight in certain places and then way too wide in other places. And I've like thought of different ways to fix it, but it's also really not my style. It's kind of like a pencil skirt look. I like the top, but the top is one of those places where it's way too big on the arms and then way too tight on the chest. Anyways, we're going to be upcycling the fabric, which is beautiful. And that's the reason I haven't gotten rid of it or sold it or anything. It's because the fabric is, I think, so beautiful. So we're going to make a corset with this. We're going to be making the garden stay. And if fabric allows, so this is where we have a little bit of potential choice in the next 5 days, because I have to take this thing apart. Once I take it apart, if there is enough fabric for the main fabric for the corset, because I can use a different one for the lining, and there's enough fabric for a skirt, then I'm going to also upcycle this into a little A-line skirt, because I just think that that is more my style. And I'm going to get more use out of it that way, in that kind of set with like the corset and the skirt. So that is hopefully where we're headed. So that would be 2 separate pieces. However, there's a chance that maybe there's not enough fabric, or maybe like because this is also like a velvety fabric. I've never sewn with velvet. Like if I end up if it ends up being a nightmare, I might not even want to continue to engage with it right now because I'm on a tight timeline, in which case I'm going to make a different decision. And that decision is to make a tiered skirt out of this fabric here. I made a tiered skirt. I have another video on my channel a few weeks ago that was super cute. It had a little slit on the side. It's a tiered skirt. It's got, it's also a drawstring. Super cute. So I might make that. Okay, so that's a possibility. If, again, I don't like this. Okay, how many are we at right now? We're at the jersey, we've got the corset, we've got the skirt, we've got the pleat top. If I don't do the skirt, I'll do the skirt. So that's 4. Okay, so then we get into choice number 5, right? It's like, what is the 5th thing that I want to make? Last week when I was deciding, okay, like here's my plan, I was going to make another pair of pants or a skirt. I was sort of like in between those 2 things, a skirt or a pair of pants. I feel like with the pants, I just made 2 pairs of pants and they're very versatile. Like I've already kind of figured out like 4 or 5 different ways to style each of them. And so I'm like, I don't think I need another pair of pants. So then I'm like, okay, what about the skirt? Okay, great. I do have the pattern for the skirt, but it is like 70 pages. I don't know why. And that's crazy. And I know that like usually I print out like on copy paper, but I'm in the middle of the country right now. If I didn't have it printed already, it was like not going to get printed. So I would have to go through the mental fortitude of putting that pattern together and then cutting it out and then making it, which is an option. Okay. Or hear me out, I could make a pair of shorts, or I can make a skirt. I can make a pair of shorts or a skirt out of this fabric. But I feel like a pair of shorts would be easier because all I have to do is modify the lane pants pattern, and there's a video on how to do that. So, I feel like that might be an option. However, a skirt would be really cute in this, right? Like, I love this fabric. I love color. I'm usually not like this kind of pattern person, but it's cute, and it's also been sitting in my stash forever. I think it's because I got it a while ago and I was like really feeling the tropical vibe. I think maybe I was going on vacation or something. And then I like never ended up picking this up again. So it's also just a way to get that used up. Anyways, that's that option. The other option is like, oh, you know what? The velvet skirt does work out. It'll look super cute, but then I still make the tiered skirt with this because that could be really cute. Like, and I could pair that skirt with so many different things, with a white top, with a tank top, with whatever, right? Like, this is a very cute pattern for me. It's like very Mexico City, like, ooh, let's see that Mexico, baby. So anyway, those are my choices. I have some flex at the end, and I think it'll depend on my mood on certain days, and I'll just continue to think about it. What I do know for sure that I'm making is the corset. So we're going to start with that today. I've got the pattern printed out. And so now I'm just going to cut it out. I need to seam rip this so that I can flatten it out to the biggest piece of fabric possible. But wait, I wanted to show you. This pattern is by Atelier Arden. And this came out a few weeks ago. I've been sort of like on the lookout for this pattern for a while because it is kind of really difficult to find a pattern online for a good corset. Like, I don't know what that's about. People are like, just do it yourself. I'm like, I don't know how. And so I've been looking for like a really good pattern, and I also have a long torso. So the other patterns that I've gotten, while they've been really cute and the directions have been amazing, they're just like for short torsoed people, and so it just hasn't worked out for me. I've tried to like cut those and extend them, and just not good. So I've been on the lookout for this pattern. It finally came out. It is so cute, and it also, a lot of care has gone into the different sizing. So there are a ton of sizes, each in a separate file. I don't know. I'm loving the experience so far, but look at this. So you know how usually when you unite a pattern, it has like little circles or a little triangle or a little whatever, and you just kind of like put them together. This is a little butterfly. Isn't that cute? So you kind of like match up the butterfly and tape it, and like that's how you know where the pieces go. Isn't that the most adorable thing you've ever seen? I saved it for my junk journal, and I also saved this one. The illustrations are so cute. I don't know, those little details, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm a sucker for those little details. I don't know what to tell you. So hopefully the rest of the pattern is good as well. There's a video, which I really appreciate, and from what I'm seeing online, there's a pretty fast sew. So, I mean, we really have to get it done today because we got to stay on track. Okay, let's do it. I've blown up my studio, and I've also crashed out in like 7 different ways since the last time I saw you, okay? Because I've never sewn with velvet, and it's like really hard. I know some of you are at home right now being like, oh, duh, sewing with velvet is the hardest thing that you could ever do, but I didn't know that. And this thing would not stay still. It was like moving all over the place. I had to unpick it like 3 separate times. And then I just like gave up. I was like, I'm running it through the machine. Like whatever gets through the machine gets through the machine. You can actually see on this side some of the mistakes because like the fabric started bunching up, whatever. However, oh, and I also like completely got the lines super wrong because again, I could only do what I could do. Everything was moving all over the place. And so there are different lines on both sides, but I actually do think it looks cute. I actually, even though I crashed out, do think it's cute. I do think it's way too small. Like I did not, because I had to cut it. I had to cut different sides of the pattern several times because everything moved around many times. So this is not the pattern's fault. The pattern is actually excellent. This is the fabric's fault, and also potentially my fault for lacking skill. But I feel like it's okay because the idea is that I'm gonna wear this on top of the little dress that I made last week, and so it can actually be small, and you know the idea is that it's tight, so I'm gonna like cinch it up, and you won't see the back. I can also eventually create like a privacy panel, and if I do want to wear it I could wear it with a jacket. Mexico City does get cold at night, so I could see this being really cute with a jacket on top, and that way my whole back won't be out. But the front looks cute. Okay, other reasons I crashed out. I couldn't find my nice boning. I bought this like nice metal boning, and I have no idea where I put it. I've been looking all over the place for it, and it's just gone. I don't know if I like put it somewhere, rearranged I don't even know. So I have this plastic boning that I'm going to use, which is unfortunately not as nice, but it is what it is. I'm going to finish this project today, and then I'm going to make the skirt. I do have enough fabric, I think, to make a little tiered skirt. I'm just going to mishmash it. It's going to look cute. I feel like this fabric, while it is difficult, it is forgiving, is that you can't really see as long as things are stitched. Whatever. This has definitely been a little bit of a more difficult project than I was expecting, but it is what it is. As long as I finish it today and then I finish the skirt, then I'm on track still to finish this 10 garment project by the time I leave to Bogota in a few days. So yeah, actually I had a little bit of an attitude change because this morning when I was trying to fix this, I definitely had an attitude. So I'm feeling more optimistic in this moment than I was a few hours ago. So gonna finish this. Wait, I love it. I was panicking about this. It is actually not too tight. I mean, it definitely is, a normal amount. I don't have it cinched all the way. But I decided not to add the straps because there really is like no in between. If you make the strap, you have to make a hole here. And I just don't necessarily know if I like that kind of corset look with the strap. It looks a little more run fair. Whereas this is potentially maybe a little bit more what I was going for. And so now picture this with that little under blue dress that I made last week that's sort of like off the shoulders. Oh my God, so cute. Or by itself with the skirt and like a jacket. Oh, so cute. I love it. Oh my gosh, thank you to myself for not abandoning this project. Okay, we're going to get into making something out of the scrap pile. I think I can get a skirt out of here. There's plenty to work with. I just need to make sure that, even if that it doesn't look too scrappy. It doesn't look like it's too pieced together, but it is going to have elastic, which I think is more forgiving. So I'm going to give it a shot. I do think I have enough here. If I get creative with my pieces, it's also going to be a short skirt, but that's okay. And I've got a little bit of black fabric here to use as a lining to give it a little more shape. So we're going to do that. And that's a pretty easy project. So I should be able to get started today. It took me about an hour to finish this, so it's almost 6. And, I could probably get the skirt done by like 8. So definitely looking forward to doing that, get myself back on track. And then the rest of the week should be a little bit of a breeze, knock on wood. Let's get into it. Okay, against all odds, I finished this skirt. I had a tough time with this. I'm not gonna lie. This was a tough one. It was the fabric. It was a tough fabric. If I never sew with velvet again, except I like velvet, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. Even putting this skirt together, it's actually pretty mishmashed. Like there's a lot of different pieces. I think that the velvet was very forgiving, so you can't see where I've patchworked this. However, because I had to patchwork all those pieces, it was a lot of trying to keep the fabric together. So it was a little tough, but I love how it came out. I feel like I could wear it like a little more down like this, or I could wear it all the way up. Like I love how it turned out. So we're up in that way. However, this did take a very long time. And so I really only have 2 days left. I have today, this afternoon, and then I have tomorrow, which is Wednesday. And that's really like the 10 days. So I think I'm going to limit it to that. I think that there was part of me that was like, maybe I could extend it an extra day because we leave on Thursday back to Bogota. But I just don't think that I want to take all my stuff to Bogota and then set up my sewing. And like, I have a bunch of doctor's appointments over there anyway before I leave. So I just want to sort of be like done with the 10 days when the 10 days are up. I'm also really feeling this in my body. Like, I'm gonna be so old, bro. Like, it hurts in my knee, in my back. Obviously my back's been having like a pain that I'm like, ooh, that's not. And so I think my body is kind of saying like, hurry it up, girl, you're done. So we're gonna do two more things. We're going to make the pleat top that I mentioned, because I already have it cut out, like the pattern, and I've got the fabric washed and everything, and I think that that's a pretty easy top from what I'm seeing online. I'm gonna give that a shot today. And then tomorrow I'm gonna pimp out my jersey, because I definitely can't be going to Mexico with my Colombian jersey pimped out. So those are the two things I'm gonna do. And then that's really gonna be it. It's gonna be 9 garments in 10 days, okay? Because that's just what I could do physically. So yeah, I'm gonna show you this as I go, but I do think that this was the hardest piece out of all of them, because it is a corset. Like, I probably should have known that, but also the fabric. But I love it. I feel like it's a great going out outfit for Mexico City, and I can carry some tights with me in case it gets cold, which I do hear. I've been to Mexico City. I don't remember getting it that cold, but I don't know. I'm reading online that it gets cold, and I'm like, did it change? Whatever. Is it the time of year? I don't know. So that's also a possibility. And I love the outfit. I mean, like, you cannot deny that it is a beautiful outfit. So yeah. The other thing is that because I made this corset, I am ready to hem this dress to wear under. So I'm going to do that before I go as well. I'm going to try this on probably tomorrow morning. I'm going to take it off. It took a while to get into it. So I'm going to take it off, and then tomorrow I'll try it on and figure out how much I want to hem this dress. I made this dress in part 1 of my series, and I wanted to put it under, because I think it looks like really cute, and I could wear it, and that would give me more versatile like outfits for this corset, because right now I have it with the skirt, which is super cute, but I also think it could look cute on top of a dress like this. So we're gonna do that, turn this into a mini, and then that's it. So I have two garments left, technically, one of them being pretty easy because I'm just pimping out a jersey, and then the other being a full top, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm gonna start today and see how far I get. I do have a late meeting today, like at 8 p.m. So I'm gonna sew for a few hours before that meeting, and we'll see. I absolutely love this pattern. Like, look at this shirt. I was not expecting this to be so cute, and it was a pretty fast sew. It was my first time making this pattern, so I did a lot of it off camera, and it's a very neat pattern, which means that, it has a lot of different techniques, like a mitered corner. I feel like I didn't do that well on some of the things, but it still was very forgiving. So I really liked some of the details, like how to finish the neck and the hemming of the shirt. And it's such an interesting shirt. It's like very asymmetrical. I feel like I could iron the pleats out a little bit more, but I did make the mistake of making this top in the most wrinkly material ever, which is linen. So just gonna have to deal with that. I feel like the pleats are just gonna kind of fall out, because I'm probably gonna be constantly wetting it or whatever to try to get it to not look crazy outside. One thing that I love about this top is how it falls on the back. So it falls right here, kind of like at the hip for me. And I love that, because for me, because there's such a difference between my waist and like my legs, when I wear like a t-shirt or a top, it tends to bunch back here in a way that I don't like, but this one is not doing that. I think it's like so cute. I'm gonna make this in 1,000 different colors. I've seen that review online of like, I made 1 and then I made 5, and it's like, that's probably gonna be me, but not today because I don't have time, and I'm also definitely reaching the end of my ability to keep sewing. Like, I'm walking and I have like this like spasm in my back, and it's just, my family hasn't seen me in years. So I'm going to do one more thing, which I'm excited to do today, and that is that I'm going to make some modifications to my World Cup jersey. I've been learning a lot from the British girls on Pinterest, and I think that the option that I'm going to go with is I'm going to cut a little off the bottom because the jersey, it tends to, again, bunch. Jerseys are not for me, okay? And so I'm going to cut some of it out, and I'm going to make strips and loops with that like fabric. Then I'm going to seam rip the side of the jersey. Oh my gosh, it's so windy in here. I'm going to seam rip the side of the jersey and then put the little loop ties in. And then with the tie, like give it a little cinch, you know? So it shouldn't be too much of a crazy project. But let's see. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, I can't believe I've been sewing since Tuesday. So this is the 10th day. And I'm just like a little bit behind. Like I could have potentially made another garment. I have one more day tomorrow, and I had originally factored in like, oh, I'm gonna take one day off, and then I'm gonna, whatever. But I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just gonna finish the jersey, and then that's it. And I'm gonna go feel successful because this was a fun project and I did a lot. So let's get into the jersey and I'll show you how it comes out. All right, I found it. I found my jersey. I am personally victimized by this color. Like this is not in my seasons at all. Ooh, it is a tough one, but you know what? I'm proud to rep Colombia, okay? Especially with the shit show that the United States is right now. Anyways, this is not a real jersey, by the way. I'm not cutting up like a $300 or even $100 jersey. My husband got this for me on the street, and I think he paid like $15 for it, maybe 10. And it's a little crusty and dusty. You can tell because how synthetic it feels. It's very synthetic, which, it's going to get like smelly. But anyways, I am going to do the following. Okay, so the first thing is I'm going to cut it all the way up until right below the 10 because I already tried it on and I have a lot of room to cut. So I'm going to cut it all the way up to the 10. Then I'm going to side seam rip right here, and I'm going to start making little loops so that I can pull from the loops to like almost be like a corset style. Now I am going to put the little loops all the way up to the pretty much right underneath the sleeve, because when I try it on, like one of the biggest issues with me with jerseys is the bunch up on the like bust area, and it just doesn't look good. And so I feel like by doing that, I'll be able to cinch it in a little bit more up top, And it's still probably going to look a little, usually when you do that, it's like in the back, it bunches a little, but that's fine. I feel like I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it being a little bunched up underneath the like strings I'm going to create. As long as in the front it looks like snatched. I don't know what to tell you. So we're going to do that. And I don't think it's going to take too long. So let's see. I cut it. I had to do it off camera. And I feel like I cut it too short. Oop. It's kind of cute though. Should I try it on as a crop top and just see if I like it that way? Let's see. Okay, low-key I feel like it's kind of cute, but I'm still going to go ahead with my plan because I think it could look even cuter if it was more cinched. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's too much. I think I cut it too much, to be honest. I cut it based on the back. I was like, oh, in the back, but then I didn't really consider the front and how the bust area expands. It is what it is. I mean, I could always add a panel back, and that could be cool. I could also add a little more length by trying to add this thing back on there. This is just folded over, I think. Oop. I don't know. I think it looks cute, to be honest. Whatever. I'm going to go with the plan that I had earlier. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to make those little things. I'm going to do it. We did it. This looks so much cuter. I feel like I also didn't finish the bottom. I don't have a thread that like matches this exact yellow, and if I use the blue, it's just gonna look kind of bad. I feel like this material doesn't fray, so it's fine. but I think it looks so good. I really do think that the cinching of it is just so much more flattering, and it still have like a lot of room for my arms because it was kind of a bulky shirt. And I just think that this is so much cuter. Like I could wear it with a pair of overalls, with a skirt. I am feeling this so much more. I feel like sometimes I'm like going to those games, like World Cup games or like whatever, Copa America games, and I'm just like, damn, I want to wear that jersey. And I know a lot of people feel that way because there's so many alternatives, like t-shirts, this kind of jersey. You put like, there's like a lot of people making alternatives, so you don't have to put on the jersey because it's like not the most flattering. So this is a good option if you're looking to do something for your World Cup games. I feel like that wraps up our work. That's 4 items this week. I am tired, but really happy with all of the things that I made. You can see some of them in this room. I can't believe I did it. I feel like it was a good push for me to think through like how can I sew a little faster. I'm like a pretty slow sewer. So this was definitely a good exercise, and I feel like more ramped up. I definitely still have to take my machine to Bogota because it needs to be serviced. Like I have really put in the miles in that machine this week, and it's just like this last round you could hear like the thudding in the machine. So yeah, let me show you what I made this week, but then let me also show you all 10 looks, or all 9 looks. Well, actually it's 10 because the first look that I made in the last video was 2 pieces. So in my mind, actually, I'm going to say that it was 10 pieces. And yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. All right, see you next time. Bye.